Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I am Wolf Bandit and this is our very first episode of Planet Zoo franchise mode. I've been spending a ton of time playing Planet Zoo since it came out yesterday. I guess this is a little bit late of a video since it did come out yesterday, but you know what? I had so much fun playing the game I couldn't stop, and so that's what happens. So today we're going to start off with building our Komodo Dragon exhibit. I did decide to do this as the very first animal in my zoo. I know it sounds probably a little bit ambitious, but it's a creature that was in the deluxe edition. I just had to go for it because I am a reptile enthusiast. I love them. I have some myself, not Komodo dragons, but reptiles. And so I just had to start off with them. And whenever I played beta, I started off with the Nile monitor, and it just felt right to go start this one off with the Komodo dragon and see what we could do with a bigger batter lizard. So I've got a pretty decent sized enclosure built here. You will see me struggle a little bit with the building mechanics in the game because while I have played Planet Coaster, I didn't play a lot of it, not enough to get familiar with how the building system works. So pretty much I'm learning it for the first time, and I'm learning that pathing in this game can be quite complicated. So if you guys have any tips or tricks to make my pathing life a little bit easier, I would really appreciate it because it's a struggle. I've Through all of my builds, I think the paths are the most difficult part of what I've had to deal with, and you'll see the struggles a little bit later because this is not going to be the first video, or excuse me, this is not going to be the last video that you're gonna see from me in Planet Zoo franchise mode. So I did go ahead and pre-build a staff area in the background. I just laid down the basic buildings. They have nothing on them. I mean, they're plain boxes, as you can see. And I hired some staff, and while they're going to get the dragons, I was just taking a look at the challenges because we didn't have those in beta, which I did play quite a bit of. I just didn't do anything with it except enjoy it. And so the challenges are new, and I was excited to see what those were and kind of what they rewarded. I was hoping they reward conservation credits, but at the same time, those challenges also kind of helped my zoo from bankruptcy, so I am grateful that they award money instead. Um, so here we're just laying down some basic kind of terrain paint, just trying to figure out where I want everything at in the exhibit, visualizing kind of this will be a rocky area, that's going to be the water, these are going to be paths that, the animals travel and the zookeepers are supposed to travel. And then I wanted to kind of get some basic foundations down. I know it looks kind of poopy right now. I promise it looks better at the end. It doesn't look quite so blocky. So here I'm going to lay down the water area, and I didn't really like it at first. It's very square looking, and it was pretty big considering these guys. I know they swim, but they don't primarily swim. And I wanted to make it look really natural because that's kind of why I enjoy this game so much is you have the freedom to make things as natural or as unnatural as you want them to make, or want them to look, I should say. So this one I decided to go natural as can be. I did Google like Komodo Dragon environment photos just real quick on like Google Pictures to get some rough ideas of where they lived at and what it looked like. And I saw a lot of like open rolling grasslands with maybe some like trees in the background, maybe a bush here or there. They showed a lot of tall grass, but these guys don't like tall grass in the game. Maybe my version of tall grass is different than what Frontier's version of tall grass is, what it defines as. Um, so I started messing with the foliage and I said, you know what? Screw it. This is too flat. I can't do the flat. They have hills in these photos. Let me make some freaking hills in this habitat here. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and it helped guide the terrain paint for me too. Now they had these hills. I had the areas where creatures would go and walk through. These valleys and the hills. That way they would see you could see like the paths and stuff from where they were walking, and then the tops of the hills it'd be a little bit greener because the creatures aren't going to be walking up there quite as much in theory anyways. Again, just doing a little bit of terrain painting, getting some sand, really trying to make it look as natural as possible and not quite so blocky. And I think it looks so much better here. And I love the long grass on the top of the hill. I don't know why. I just do. You'll see me kind of fiddle with it here in just a second. Just trying to get everything to look perfect as can be to give them an idea of, this is a grassy area with hills and all that, but you know, maybe running some sand through there just to make a look at the animals do go up there from time to time to maybe, you know, sunbathe because they are reptiles. They do need to thermoregulate. And so they go up there and bask whenever they feel like it, and whenever they got a full tummy, and whenever they're done, they're done. And they slide that back off the hill and go, you know, live in their burrow or hang out by the water or whatever it may be. So here I'm just kind of experimenting with a bunch of different foliage. Again, there's a lot more options than from the beta, so I was having a ton of fun experimenting. And that tree right there, I think it's called like an apple cypress tree or something. It's my favorite tree in the game by far. I just love the way that it looks and I love the way that it bends, and I just love the cypress kind of root system that it has going on. It's just, I don't know, it's silly as it sounds, it's probably my favorite tree in the game. Took a little bit of a break away from the foliage though because I want to do some rockscaping. Rockscaping I feel is kind of what brings these enclosures together and makes them gives them that really natural look and feel to them. And so I was just kind of messing around, see what I could do. I was trying to decorate this corner up. I didn't really like it. You know, there we go. I just deleted it. And then I decided to lay some rocks down into the earth just to give it something. You know, I needed something over here. It looks so plain and barren. And yeah, these guys live in grasslands, but there's rocks in the grasslands. So might as well do what I can here. I did kind of go corny here and make like this platform that they can go up onto, and it does work. They can go onto it. There is pathing onto it, as you'll see in a little bit here. But I've never seen any of my Komodo dragons go up there, and I've had a lot of different Komodo dragons since this has been recorded. Lots and lots and lots of babies. If you get these guys to 100% happiness and give them a good size enclosure like this, they will make you tons and tons of babies. This is how I've been getting my conservation credits, at least in the very start, and it's great. It's yeah, just wonderful. And now I'm going back to the foliage, messing with it here and there, trying to fit some stuff in. Just try not to make it look so plain and boring like it does right now. Put that thing in there because I thought it was cute, and then I realized afterwards that that doesn't fit from their continent, so they don't like it. So I ended up deleting it out. Again, just trying to make it look really nice and pretty and failing. At least right now I am. I think it looks really nice at the end, but right now it's a little bit of a struggle. And here I've got these little nettles that I'm messing around with. And again, placement is kind of a struggle, so if you guys have any tips or tricks or anything with like making this a little bit more of a streamlined process, I definitely appreciate them. As you can see, even as I'm decorating this, I'm like, man, this thing looks plain. I'm trying to hang vines on the walls for crying out loud to make it look good. And I've actually learned this from other Planet Zoo players who played the beta, sinking down some trees to make it look like bushes on the ground. It looks super cool. I love it. You just have to be careful because it does count towards like your coverage and stuff like that. So you can make your animals unhappy if you do that too much and make it look a little bit too luscious for them for their liking. So again, messing around, and there's that tree again. I couldn't resist. I had to put another one in there. I just love the way that it hangs over the water like that. It's perfect. So there you can see that they've got pathing up onto that rock. They've got pathing all around, pathing in the water. They've got tons and tons of area for them to explore and roam around in and do their thing in. And then I realized that I completely forgot about hard shelter the whole time I was building this, and I think the hard shelters are actually what bring this exhibit together and make it look like its finalized state. I actually ended up doing two of them that you'll see here. The first one, you'll see me rearranging these rocks to kind of make a nice like rocky ground foundation, and then I end up making like a naturalistic rock cave essentially. It's pretty small. Looking back at this, I can see why my dragons were not happy whenever I was like, here's your shelter, and they're like, that's not good enough. But at the time when I was building this, I thought it was so big that I was really surprised that they didn't like it kind of blew me away a little bit. Using some of these like rock pillars that are in here, and then there's these super nice flat pieces that I probably use way too much and probably makes everything not look natural in my game, but I just can't help it. They're so easy to use for building these natural cave-like, you know, figures. I'm not sure what the word is I'm looking for there, but it gives it that naturalistic like roof cover that's really nice. They're super easy to use. And I'm actually really digging the slant that I'm building them on. It's kind of nice to see that slope. I typically stay away from that, but here I was rolling with it. I'm like, let's do it. I do now realize that there is an option to toggle off the rotation snapping. I did not at the time of recording this, so that probably would have helped me a little bit with my struggle. Actually, I know it would have helped me a little bit with my struggle, but you know, you work with what you work with, you live and you learn, and that was what I was doing here. I was learning as I was going and just kind of trying things out and experimenting. So here you see me trying to kind of just change that a little bit, make it look a little bit better, sliding it backwards, moving it down, tilting it, couldn't get that angle right that I wanted. That's where I was talking about the snapping. And I just kind of went with it and said, you know what, here we go. That's what you guys have got. Perfect. It looks beautiful, right? You guys are happy? No, you guys don't like that at all. Not enough shelter. Okay, so plan 2. I'm very upset that they don't like my shelter, as you can see. So I said, all right, guys, if you don't like that shelter, then I'll build you guys something else. And this is where my building skills really show off how not efficient I am at building. I think my end product looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks simple, but I still like it. I like the little bit of detail I did on it. But here, I'm sorry guys, you're gonna see me mess with this pillar in this building for a hot minute, trying to figure out how to get these pillars and the roof pieces to look right. I mean, I couldn't even get the pillars to line up at first. It was a good time. So I wanted to go with this like stone build because I didn't want to do more wood. I felt like there was way too much wood in the enclosure as it was with the whole outside being wood. So I ended up going with this like stone concrete type of look. And I really like the way it looks in the enclosure. I think it kind of pops and it brings out some contrast that was needed with all the green and the brown and then the brown rocks and all that. So again, still learning. I've never used this building system before. I mean, I did play Planet Coaster maybe like a whole 5 times ever. So I never got to learn the building system, and now I'm being faced with, well, learning it. So I get to experiment, and this is what I ended up coming up with. I finally managed to make the roof and the pillars work. And then I found this like weird looking like concrete wall. I wanted to put it in there. I wasn't sold on it. I didn't like the way the texture looked on it. I felt like it was very like industrial and very, I don't know. It just didn't feel like it fit with everything else. But I tried to throw it in there. I was trying to see if I could maybe raise the pillars up a little bit more to give like the dragons clearance so they could walk under those. That way they could still have access to it. But I couldn't get it to work. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna mess with that in a minute. Let me do the roof here. And so playing with the roofing tiles, I really liked the concrete roof. I didn't like the concrete walls, and there I go deleting them, as you can see. I did go ahead and put the concrete roof inside the building. That way there is an enclosed top. And I was like, you know what? This still looks really plain. What else can I do? And then I found the gutters. And I don't know why, but I love these freaking gutters so much. They were so much fun to use. I love the little detail that it provides. I think it just kind of puts it right over the edge. Um, and again, you'll see me kind of struggle with the building mechanics a little bit here. I promise I do get a little bit better as time goes on. But I loved putting these little pieces together because they had every piece that you could possibly need to build a gutter on your building. I mean, they had end caps, they had downspouts, they had the funnels for the downspouts, they had like these twisty, bendy pieces that you could use. And I was so in love with it. Everything had to look exactly perfect. So I mean, this video was sped up 300 times, and you can see how long I spent trying to make sure that everything was just lined up perfectly. I didn't want it to look wonky at all. And so there's the funnel I was mentioning just a minute ago. I was trying to get it all lined up perfect. And then they have like these little end caps that you can put on there, and I had to get that lined up perfect. And I don't know. It looks so realistic, and I know that's what, you know, Frontier was aiming for, you know, the makers of Planet Zoo, but it's still a little bit mind-blowing how good everything looks. Um, I can't get enough of it. I spend half the time in my zoo watching my animals and looking at them and seeing how they interact with each other and with the guests and all the little babies and how cute they look and everything. I don't know. I just love it. I think it's the greatest thing. I'm so happy that I have this game and that I get a chance to play it. It was so worth the wait. The beta was a nice snippet, but it's no comparison. So here I am putting the downspouts on. I do realize after I put them on that I put them all on backwards, so I rotate them around, and then we have a nice little gutter system here on our Komodo Dragon shelter. So, since we have it on one side, we obviously need to have it on the other, but first, I want to do something with the roof. It still felt a little bit plain to me, so I put that on there to give it, a little bit more pop. Plus, it matches the gutters. I thought it looked really nice. Kind of gave it that little bit of texture that it needed. And then, we rotate it around, put it on the other side. There we go. And then I adjust it just a little bit to bring up that bottom downspout piece there. And boop, there we go. Perfect. All right. So, now are they happy? Let us see. All right, 100% shelter. So, of course, they're not very happy with their enrichment because I don't have anything for them. This is, franchise mode, so we have to research everything that we want, and that includes researching all of the animals. So that's what I have. I'm going to set that up in just a second here after I put this bedding down. That way that we can get some stuff for the Komodo dragons to play with and have fun with, give them some entertainment and all that. And I was also looking at all the stuff that you can get your mechanics to research, because like I said, the beta didn't have most of this. Almost all of this is like brand new stuff. So I'm super excited to play with all the different pieces and see what I can come up with. I'm not the most creative builder, but I try my best to make it look good. Checking out the pathing here just to kind of see, and expanding the cave to give them a little bit more room inside there. And they do use this quite a bit. Baby Komodo dragons use the cave a little bit more than the adults. I think it's just because they fit a little bit better, but they do use it. It is a lot of fun seeing all of them go in there. And it looks like we have about a 15% chance to breed. These guys are, I don't know if they're technically considered endangered. I think they are. But they also don't do very good in breeding. We actually, where I live at, we have a Komodo dragon in our local zoo, and she actually is part of a Komodo dragon breeding program. It was really cool going to see her and see her enclosure. Her enclosure is vastly different than this one. It is very concrete. It's not very naturalistic at all. It's, I feel a little bit like sad for her because whenever I went to see her, she was just kind of like chilling, laying up against the glass, like not really doing much. But at the same time, I own reptiles as well. I know that's kind of what they do, is just kind of like chill and don't really do a whole lot. And the fact that she's up against the glass, I mean, clearly she likes being looked at if she was up against the glass. So, trying to get some education and some donation boxes put in here, and of course, we can't forget the ATM. Everyone's got to be able to access their money. So then we're adding in some viewing windows. That way, the guests can see these guys. If you guys have any tips for education, like how to improve it in your zoo, please let me know. My what I do is I put these boards here, the environment information boards. I put donation boxes. I put the panels that you can like tell the guests about your animals on, and it goes over like how much you've researched them and stuff like that. That thing right there. I use those, and then I use the speakers, but I mean, I still have a really low percentage education chance. And so if you guys have any other tips or anything for me, please let me know, because education is a struggle in my zoo and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I can't figure it out. I did figure out that you can turn the speakers up, which is super cool, and cover more space, which is really, really useful. So right now, if you walk in my zoo, all you hear is speakers screaming about Komodo dragon information. It's great. I love it. The guests I don't think do, but I do. It's wonderful. All right, and here we are just looking at the guests, seeing what they think. They all kind of complain, saying that the view is okay, they guess. Sorry, guys, I don't know what more you want. I mean, Komodo dragons, you can't walk in there with them because they would try to eat you. So deal with it, I guess, if you don't like it. I get it because it's an enclosure this big, but believe me when I do say, once they start making babies, you're gonna want a big enclosure because when they have babies, they have a lot of babies. And they have them faster than they grow up. So you will have several generations of babies all in the same enclosure, all at the same time, which is really cool, but can also be a really big headache with like the feeders. You know, you gotta have make sure you have enough keepers to keep everybody fed and keep all the poop scooped and all that fun stuff. Look at all the guests over here admiring everything. Look at how good they look. Such beautiful animals. I love the little tongue blips too. Blip. Blip. Love them. Komodo dragons are awesome. Really, really cool animals. We've got some research for them, so that means we finally have some enrichment, and we're gonna throw a sprinkler down, like right on top of this hill. I feel like that's perfect, and it makes sense as to why it would be green up there now because there's a sprinkler. So, and then we'll see one of them here in just a second go run off and play on it. Now, because this is a North American biome that I'm in, I do have to worry about both rain and snow. So in this exhibit, I remembered to put a cooler and a heater in. However, in other exhibits, I forgot and didn't realize it until after my animals started screaming at me about low welfare. So don't forget, weather changes based on your location for your zoo. So you want to make sure that you are prepared at all times for that weather change, or you will be frantically struggling like me to get all the heaters and stuff in place. So let's slow it down a little bit and take a a closer look at these guys because they are just so beautiful looking. They go with that sit stand thing again. I just don't get that. Reptiles don't do that in real life, but it's fine. I guess it's okay. But man, look at how good these look. And then he's like all wet from the water from where he like just walked into it a little bit, and so he's all shiny. It's so pretty. Let's see. What are you guys gonna do here? Just chill together? Sit down? Oh no, he's getting back up. Oh man, it looks so good. Blip. Oh, he's going up to her. He's sniffing her. Oh, are they gonna fight? Oh, that's not fighting. Aw, look at how cute. Aww. So I guess that's their interaction with one another. I don't know if that's like their mating interaction or if that's just a social interaction or not. I don't know if social interactions are in the game. I do know mating interactions are in the game. Not what you're thinking, but just kind of like that. The animals will kind of rub up against one another, sniff one another, nuzzle one another, something along those lines, indicating that they are interacting with one another. And it does look like they actually were making each other mates, because now we have a 20% chance offspring, where as you saw before, we did have a 15% chance. So already our chances are going up with a little bit of research, and then those two just spending time together in the enclosure. And here we see our lady checking out the sprinkler, which she was very eager to get over to as you saw her run away. And here's our male just kind of doing his own thing, hanging out by the air conditioner, climbing around on the rock that he's at. Oh, the keepers brought the food into the exhibit. Awesome. Or, yeah, a habitat? Exhibit. Habitat. I think it's a habitat. I get the terms mixed up. Let's just call it an enclosure for the day. But man, look at like the claws on this guy and like the way his feet and stuff move. It looks so good. And like just you can see like the skin folds under the neck and all that and just moseying along. Doop doo doo. Oh my goodness, look at her. Someone's on a mission. That's a girl after my own heart right there. Rushing to go eat food, just like me. I love it. Oh man, and the sun rising, it's so pretty. Here we go, seeing them eat together. It's awesome. Anyways, if you guys like what you saw today, please let me know. Hit that thumbs up button, guys, to let me know that you enjoyed what you saw. But seriously, leave a comment or something down there. I'll continue to do this regardless, but it's always nice knowing that people like what I'm doing. So yeah, until next time, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and we will end this off here with just a couple screenshots of these guys just in their enclosure, interacting with stuff, and some of their babies. Thanks.